Welcome to Juice Club 1.0 Interviews. This week is the most influential woman. Today we will talk about Oprah's journey from childhood to where she is now, as well as some of her greatest accomplishments. Everyone, please welcome Oprah.
Thank you for having me on your show. It's quite an honor to be here.
Let's start from the beginning. Tell us about your childhood.
I was born January 29th, 1954, in Mississippi. I was originally called Oprah, like in the Bible. But the name on my birth certificate said Oprah because it was difficult to spell. I was blessed enough to be the daughter of Vernita Lee and Vernon Winfrey. I lived with my grandmother for a few years of my childhood and lived with both of my parents separately. When I lived with my grandmother, I stayed on her farm in Mississippi. When I was with my father, I stayed at his home in Nashville, Tennessee. And I stayed with my mother in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin ghettos.
Who do you think had the greatest impact upon your life? What were some of the hardships you faced as you were growing up?
The greatest impact upon my life would have been my grandmother and my father. I loved my mother dearly, but she was working many jobs while we were living in the ghettos, and she was not able to take adequate care of me. In the ghettos, I was sexually abused by trusted family members and others beginning at the age of 9. At that time in my life, I felt extremely lonely and abandoned. I went to stay with my father for a while, where he made me complete weekly book reports as well as learning 5 new vocabulary words each day before dinner. He gave my life structure and rules. He valued my education highly, and I was very grateful for him because he was my lifesaver. I then went back to live with my mother. I desired attention and love, but my mom was busy raising 4 kids while working her jobs. I ended up getting pregnant at age 14 and running away from home. My son died prematurely after his birth.
You said that your father would make you do weekly book reports as well as learn 5 vocabulary words before you ate. Did your father or grandmother help you in any other ways that led to your tremendous success?
At my grandmother's, I would practice my love of acting in front of her animals. She also opened a love of public speaking for me by teaching me to read when I was 2.5 and involving me in our local church. I would speak in front of my church at a young age, and once I was given $500 for a speech by the Elks. My father continued to help me in my academic career by helping me build a great educational background. This was beneficial for my love of public speaking because I joined drama club, debate club, and student council. In another Elks Club speaking contest, I won a full scholarship to Tennessee State University, where I majored in communications. The next year, I went to the White House conference and was crowned Miss Fire Prevention by my local radio. I became Miss Black Nashville and Miss Tennessee during my first year of college. I graduated, and WJZ-TV in Baltimore, Maryland scheduled me to do cut-ins for Good Morning America.
It sounds like you worked your way from rags to riches. How did you get from being on Good Morning America to being in a movie?
Well, I was moved to the talk show Baltimore is Talking with co-host Richard Shear, and the show became a success. ABC's Chicago representative saw my audition, and I was hired to be on AM Chicago. I changed the show's topic from women's issues to controversial topics, so they renamed the show The Oprah Winfrey Show. Then Quincy Jones thought I would be a good actress, so he put me in The Color Purple, directed by Steven Spielberg. That movie was when I really gained my popularity.
Aside from being the most watched daytime television host, Oprah has won many awards. Do you know how many awards she has won?
I don't know, like 20?
Oprah has been nominated for 67 awards, and she has won 38 of them.
I didn't know that she won that many.
Oprah has won 18 Daytime Emmy Awards, 1 Golden Globe, an Oscar, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Tony, and 12 NAACP Image Awards, and more. Now back to the talk show. Oprah also received the International Radio and Television Society's Broadcaster of the Year award while being the youngest person to ever receive it. She made her own production company called Harpo Production, Inc. in 1986. Harpo Productions was started for Oprah's television projects, and it emphasizes philanthropy and education. Here's my co-host, Daria.
Thanks, Eva. Oprah has been very accomplished. She was the first woman to produce and own her own talk show.
She has taken her own experiences and used them to create campaigns. She initiated a campaign to make a national database of convicted child abusers. She testified before a U.S. Senate on behalf of a National Child Protection Act. President Clinton signed the Oprah Bill in 1993. Now, law enforcement agencies and concerned parties across the country use Oprah's database. Oprah is named one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century by Time magazine. She is an advocate for the Me Too movement, which is a movement to help survivors of sexual violence.
Can we talk about Oprah's book club? She is the author of 5 books, and she publishes 2 magazines. The launch of her first magazine was the most successful startup in the history of the industry. She is the most powerful book marketer in the United States, and she had a book club. Learning to read at 2.5 must have contributed to this lifelong love of books.
And let's talk about her philanthropist donations. Oprah presented a $100,000 award to people who were using their lives to improve the lives of others. Oprah was the first African-American woman to become a billionaire. She used Harpo Productions to establish the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. She claims that the 152 girls at her academy are her daughters. She gave away brand new Pontiac cars to every member in the audience of her show in 2004. She has also donated more than $20 million to the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of African American History and Culture. She was recognized by the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences in 2011 with a special Oscar statue, the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award.
And let's talk about her films. She produced a film adaptation of Zora Neale Hurston's novel Their Eyes Were Watching God, as well as a Broadway version of The Color Purple. She has been in Charlotte's Web, The Bee Movie, and The Princess and the Frog. She is the highest paid performer on television, the richest self-made woman in America, and the richest African American of the 20th century.
Discovery Health Channel was renamed Oprah Winfrey Network. She ended the Oprah Winfrey Show after 24 seasons and 5,000 broadcasts. She still hosts the nightly program Oprah's Life Class on the Oprah Winfrey Network.
In 2008, she hosted a fundraiser for Barack Obama and appeared with him at campaigning events. Her support was crucial to winning his presidency. She got the nation's highest civil honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So you could say she has had a successful life and career.
Oprah has impacted countless people, from her book club to her television network. She has made generous charitable donations, and she is one of the most influential people. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week for our episode on Ariana Grande.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.